Welcome back to Bassline Fresh. Today I've got a great product for you guys. We're going to do an unboxing and a little quick review for the foam cannon kit from Armor All. It's a pretty cheap but very useful item that I think a lot of people should have in their arsenal. So without further ado, let's open up this box and see what it's got. Alright, so here I have the unopened box. You can see I got it on clearance for $35. I have no idea what the original price was, but I don't think it's too bad of a deal for $35 if you can get this kit, which comes with the soap and the actual foam cannon inside. Now, a lot of people don't like Armor All products, and I agree with that mostly. Their chemicals are not really that good. They're not really professional level, but obviously today we'll check this out. We'll see just how good this product is. So inside the box, you only get really just two items in this kit. You have their snow foam. It's about 473 ml, which I think that's 16 ounces. You also have the top. It's actually pretty heavy, pretty nicely weighted. It feels good quality and has a weight to it that feels nice in the palm. It's got a little bit of a thick plastic straw at the bottom, but it's not weighted. So most professional items would be weighted at the bottom so that no matter which way you're turning this reservoir, it gets the liquid, but I guess that's not too much of a big deal. The bottle seems nice and stable. It's got a wide bottom. It holds a lot of product. You can see it's got the measurements off to the sides here. So today we'll be using this on my Acura TL over there. I'll be giving it a quick hand wash. We'll do a test of this foam that it came with in the kit, and then I also have just good old classic Meguiars Gold Class that we can use. We'll test out two different types of soap. We'll see just how good the quality is, just how thick and sudsy it gets, and I guess I'll also update you guys a few months from now and see if this holds up in half a year later on down the road, and how that works out. So hopefully you guys enjoy and get a lot of info for this. I do think it's worth the $35 price tag, even though it's Armor All, which is not a really good brand. If I was to order the cheapest one of these on Amazon here in Canada, it would be like 25 bucks. So to just pay 35 for some soap and this without having to worry about delivery or waiting for whatever. I just got this at my local Canadian Tire. You could probably find it at Walmart or whatever your local hardware store is. So let's get into it. Let's see how good this is and the results that we get. Alright, so according to the instructions, Armor All wants us to fill in 180 ml of our liquid here into the reservoir, and then the rest with warm water up to 945 ml. So I've done that. It smells really nice, like sort of like berries or like a nice fruity scent. It's very stable. Usually these things fall over because the top is so heavy it just tips, but because we have the wide base, it actually looks nice. It's quite a lot of product. I've only filled this up once to show you guys, and it's like half the bottle. So this might only work for, 2 or 3 fill-ups, but hopefully it cleans well and gets the job done. I'm sure they sell larger sizes of this. So, I mean, depending on how it cleans, it's just a general soap. It shouldn't really be too expensive in the long run. It might be a good buy if it really does a good job. But I'll throw this onto my pressure washer now, and we'll see how it does. You can see the front here. You can twist this little front piece, and it changes the angle of the spray for the foam. And then on the top here, you have a plus and minus symbol. If you twist this a certain way, it will change how much soap goes through. So if you want thicker bubbles, you can increase it. If you want less bubbles and more water, you can decrease it. I will use this up, clean my car a little bit, and then we'll put in the Gold Class from Meguiars and see how that foam does at the recommended ratio. Alright, so I've covered the entire car in the foam. As you guys could see from the first clip, not very thick, not very sudsy or powerful at all. I was messing around with the little settings on top. I was changing the angle of the spray. I was adding more soap or less soap, and you can't really get it to be as thick as they showed in, you know, on the box or in their type of advertisements. So I'll play around with it a little bit more, and then we'll switch to Meguiars Gold Class. But so far, not very impressive at all. It's a foam cannon for sure, but it's not a good foam cannon. The actual soap itself smells really good, really sweet and fruity. It has good coverage for what it's putting out, but it's not very thick. It's not very powerful. It doesn't cling to the paint at all. And it's on like max settings for everything. So maybe the more I use it, I'll get used to switching these settings around. But for now, guys, it does not look like this might be worth the 35 bucks. It's not as they advertise, so could be better for sure. So this is what it looks like after a full contact wash with the microfibers. Full contact wash with the microfibers and Armor All in the foam can. Dried okay. Didn't come out like as good as it came, obviously, but it did most of the grime. The only issue is the actual cannon itself. You know, the soap is just average. The cannon itself is not too good. The spray, I could never really get it thick and foamy and right. I actually added more soap to the reservoir, and no matter how much I play with these settings, I just cannot get a nice foamy mix. So that's what I'm currently getting. You change these settings a little bit, add more, you know, it's on max. It's a nice sheet of foam, but it's not as thick as, you know, people want. Even when you thicken it up. So I'm going to replace this with the Meguiars Gold Class right now. We'll switch up the bottle. This one is meant for a snow foam cannon, and it's still not doing that well. So we'll see if Gold Class is any better. I'll switch this out. Alright, so I filled it up with some of the Gold Class. I don't really know the proper ratio for a foam cannon because this is not meant for that. So I think I've made it pretty strong, you know, comparative to what it should be, comparative to what I did with the Armor All. So now we'll see which one foams up nicer. I'm not going to touch this setting, but I will put this to full on the soap. So this is what's left of the Armor All. I will, I'll spray this off. So, I have filled this with a very, very powerful mix of the Meguiars Gold Class. And our settings are as good as they're gonna get. Full soap with a very, you know, pronounced spray. So let's see how thick this is. Oh. All right. So even if I play around with these settings, you know, it's not going to get much thicker than this. And this was a lot of Gold Class in here compared to the mixture with the blue soap, the Armor All soap. Yeah, so no matter how I change this, Definitely not as they advertise. So, I mean, it's thick foam, but it's not clinging. It's not as thick as we want. Which really sucks because, you know, it seemed like a solid, well-built thing, but doesn't really work as well as we want it to. So, I'm going to clean up the rest of this stuff, dry off the car, and then I'll give you the final thoughts on Armor All snow foam and the foam cannon. Okay, so final thoughts on the Armor All foam cannon. It's a pretty cheap product. It feels nice and weighted, but it did not do the job at all. The build quality is not cheap, the price was cheap, and the performance was pretty cheap. Snow foam, I added their recommended amount, and it honestly was not very clingy, was not very foamy at all. I added more than their recommended amount, still did not create a good cling. Actually using it for a wash with the wash mitt and the way it rinsed and the way it brought out mud and dirt from the car, it worked all right. Worked about average, I would say. Nothing too special. I'm glad that I got this as part of a clearance kit because I would not pay whatever full price is. This would be about $5 to $10 over the counter. This would be about $30 or $40 maybe. Higher than $40 if it was on clearance for $35. So all in all, I probably would not recommend this product. Did not do a great job, but of course it was super cheap, so the price of the experiment was worth it for what we learned. I'll keep using it and I'll give you guys a 6-month update to see if it breaks anytime soon, but going forward, when it does break, you should definitely invest in something a little bit more better. So thanks guys, thanks for checking it out. Remember to leave a like and subscribe. This has been Bassline Fresh. I hope you guys learned something today.